Today I'm going to show you how to replace the elastics in an AppleCheeks swim diaper. I know this is a bit of a daunting task because you actually don't have access to inside the pocket. So what I'm going to do is first remove the elastics, then I'm going to make a small hole here at the back behind the tag. And that's how I'm going to get the elastics in and out. And then I'll stitch up that hole and you won't even see it because it's covered by the tag. So I've already started removing some of the elastics from the front and back. So now I'm going to switch to removing the leg elastics. So I'm using my seam ripper. I've got a fancy little one here that I got from Lee Valley and I love it. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick out my stitches on the inside here. So very carefully I'm going to find each individual little stitch and pick each little stitch. I know this is really tedious and it looks like it's gonna take forever and ever, but it's worth it because if you don't have a serger, then all you have to do to fix this diaper is just make that tiny hole like I said. So you see I've picked out a few little stitches here. I'm sorry, I'm shooting this by myself, so if my focus sucks, well, I'm sorry. So I've picked out a few stitches, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab the inside of the orange and the outside of the blue and give it a little tug. And they're just going to kind of pop. So, like that. So you can see that the elastic is now getting a little bit looser in there. Now I've got my elastics all picked out and they're just kind of floating around inside. They're kind of wherever. So now my job is going to be to make my little incision here. Okay, it doesn't need to be huge. Really doesn't need to be huge. There. Here's my hole. So, now what I'm going to do is find my floaty elastics inside and just kind of gently manipulate them. And kind of just feel them inside the pocket. Move them around. Oh, where'd you go? Oh! Oh, there it is. Okay. Hey! And there it is. Surprise! So, I've got my elastics here. I'm using special swimsuit elastics that are designed to be chlorine resistant, since these are swim diapers and it's going to be used in the pool. I've got my machine all loaded up with my blue Corsica thread, and my bobbin has the orange thread because this diaper is blue and orange. So now I'm going to get my elastic and thread it into my little hole in the back of the diaper here. So kind of the inverse of picking out the old elastics. I'm going to put this one into the pocket and say, be free, little elastic. And it's going to kind of fall down into the bottom. And then again, I'm going to just kind of smush it around to get it where I want it to be. So I'm going to line it up with my old stitch holes. I can still see them. So I'm going to line up my elastics with that. You can see there's my elastic. And then I'm going to stitch. And here we go. Do our anchor stitch first. 2 times is enough. around inside again and kind of just manipulate again, get that elastic where it needs to be. Alright, there we go. There's that elastic in there again, right near those stitch marks. Do my second anchor stitch. Oh, great. Yep. Okay. Ta-da! So, I got my two ends anchored, and now my goal is to stitch it along there. So just like in doing a normal diaper, you're going to follow the line, go back and forth, anchor it, and stretch, and go. Back and forth. I like to put my needle down to hold it while I pull. And make sure my elastic lines up nicely with my stitch line, because I only want to do this one. And go. Anchor the ends, and voila! All nice and ruffly. Now, the trick is, we're going to do the legs first, well, the legs next, and then the back. So, got my long leg elastic here, and again, just going to feed my elastic into the diaper. Ta-da! And find it in there. Now, got it lined up with my stitch marks. Oh, here we go. Do that tacking stitch first. Alright, so I got the elastic in there. And again, this time I'm going to be very careful to make sure I don't get it flipped around. Okay, so I got it all fished into place. It's nice and flat. Here we go. Okay. Again, lining it up. Do my little anchor. Doesn't take much. And again, finding it, making sure it's nice and flat. Okay. Stitch. Oh crap, look at that, my thread came out. It's because I'm cutting it short. Try that again. See, never happened. Okay, yay! So, both legs are tacked at the ends. Now it's just a matter of following that old stitching line. You can see it there. And getting the elastic sewn in. Line up that hole with my needle, little anchor. Again, putting that needle down in there so that when I pull, and I'm pulling on my anchor line, it's nice and secured. It's not going to go flying out of there. Because if I didn't have this needle down, if I had it up, and I pulled on this, the diaper would just slip out. And that would suck. So, take two. Get that lined up. Stitch it. Put the needle down. Always put the needle down. Stretch it out. Make sure that elastic's nice and a little bit snug against your serging. It's going to give you nice ruffles. Okie dokie. Now, with a swim diaper, you could pin because it's not going to be waterproof, right? But I'm lazy, so I don't pin. Here we go. keeping even tension all the way down. Your even tension's what's going to give you those beautiful ruffles. Look at those. How pretty is that? That's why we love our AppleCheeks. Okay, other side. Anchor stitch, needle down, tension, get everything all nice and snug and pretty, get it where you want it to be, and go. Come on. Is that lovely? I know it is. Okay, so here's why we did the legs first. Now we're going to do the back. And by doing the back, we're going to kind of occlude that hole. So that's why we do the back last. So, elastic. It'll make it a little easier if you just kind of slide it in sideways. See how I'm sliding it in sideways? That way you don't have to go fishing around. Slide, slide, slide. Get it right where you want it. Almost there. Okay. Lined up. Anchor stitch. Oops. And we're going to fish this guy back through, back like we've been doing with the rest of them. Making sure it's nice and flat. So if it gets flipped over, you get in trouble. You'll be just mad at yourself. Okay. Lined up. Nice stitch line. And anchor. Back and forth 2 times is all it needs. Snap. Okay, here we go. Done on both ends. We're almost there. Almost there. Time for our last big stitch. Same as we've been doing with the other ones. Exactly the same. Line it up. Little anchor. Needle down. Stretch it out. Make sure everything's nice and flat and lines up just the way you want it to. You take time to do it right the first time, you won't have to go back. Now, make sure your little taggy's sticking out, okay? Don't sew over that tag. Make sure that's sticking out. Here we go. It's done! Gorgeous! And all you had to do is make a tiny little hole. Hand stitch that baby up. Tag covers it up perfectly. No one will ever know. And you just replaced the elastics in your AppleCheeks swim diaper.